So today let's talk about what's been going on in the shop and what got missed in the shop tour. So it's Sunday evening and welcome to my shop update. This is a bit of an experiment in maybe producing content a bit more often, but in a more unpolished form. Actually, you know, it's Sunday evening, but this will probably get released on Monday. We'll see about that. My idea is to maybe put out a video in addition to every project video where I can just sort of give an update about what's going on, because not everything I do in here is worth doing a video because I've already done a video on it. So anyways, so what's been going on in the shop? So if you've been following me on Instagram, you've probably already seen some hints of that. I've been working on some trays. That video is already shot. I'm not going to show you any closer because that's my next video. So you'll get your fill on that when it's released, probably next weekend. There are going to be some plans along with that. It's sort of a beginner type project. Okay, it's a mid-century modern tray. And if you haven't been following me on Instagram, you know, there it is. So you can rectify that right away. You know, if you want to, you know, not everybody is doing every social media thing. Another thing I've been doing in the shop is I made another set of Trivets, and I didn't film this at all, though again, I posted a few pictures on Instagram. I'll put a link up there, and I'm probably pointing it the wrong way, aren't I? I'll put a link up there to the video where I designed and made some other Trivets. I just got the idea that I'd like to make some more. We have some upcoming events where I might be asked to donate some charity auction items, and yeah, it's actually fairly time consuming. You know, I've got 2 trays here, and this is like 3 evenings where you sneak down to the shop and spend a half hour or an hour. And I mean, on the one hand, you can get a lot done when you're not filming, but still it's, you know, going through all the wood, sorting out the colors, gluing it up, planing it down to a ½ an inch, and then, you know, these are double-sided, as you will see, and then gluing them together, and then planing them down, and then cutting the grooves, and then doing the rounding, and shooting them with some lacquer. So my most recent video was the shop tour series I shot with Wes Hamstra. I did a tour of his shop, which was on my channel. He did a tour of my shop, which is on his channel. I hope you've watched both of them. And one of the things that popped into my head was, what did we skip? Not on purpose, but afterwards when I was reflecting on what we had done, I'm like, oh, we missed this and we missed that. I was just talking about these Trivets, and these I shot some lacquer on it, and I'm in a basement shop. That's my only window. So normally I almost always use water-based finish because I'm in a basement shop, but rattle can is usually rattle can lacquer, and in the summer I can go outside. In the winter I either don't do it, or if it's a small project like that, I shoot it out of the can, and I often regret it because, yeah, the stink is penetrating. But one thing we skipped in the video is I do have a bit of ventilation. So you can open this window up, and I have up here, just see my hand, and I have a drop-down fan. Let me zoom in on that. So this is an old fan that I picked up at work. It's 120 volt, plugs into a cord. It was, you know, from some old mainframe computer thing or something. I don't know. I got it, and I can just... It hangs in front of the window. I can plug it in, and it, as you can hear, it's ramping up in speed. And that's how I ventilate my shop, so that I can do some limited spraying in the basement of finish. Really, I need a better fan. I should get like if I can find a 12-inch box fan that would just tuck right in. So I've turned it off and I've stopped it, and then you just tuck the cord on, and I just have a loop of wire up there to hang it up out of the way. And the other thing we missed, you can see above my head. Let me back. So I do video, which means I need to do pictures, and this is a that's a window blind that I picked up off the street once. It's, oh, that's terrible. Let's get a bit more light on it. There we go. Yeah, it's just a big white window blind. Somebody threw it out. In fact, the spring, like this is one of those pull it down and it springs back up. The spring broke. I actually have it. I have have it sitting on a wooden dowel. And at this end, because there's no spring, I made this plywood disc. And when I'm done with it, just spin the disc to put it away. It is a complete kludge. It's a complete hack job, and it's kind of ridiculous, but it works. And it's like, I'm not using it. If I was using this every day, it'd be a no-go because that'll drive you nuts. But I mean, I'm using this maybe every couple of weeks that I might need to pull it down. It's long enough that you can get to the table and drape it forward, so you can sort of have that continuous white backdrop for when you're taking pictures. Okay, this is my wall-mounted toolbox. You almost never see it closed because I almost always just leave it open. I've never really done the sticker thing before, but I went to Workbench Con and I met a bunch of people and I came home with a bunch of stickers. Like before Workbench Con, I think I had like a double row up here. So anybody who's been watching my channel for a while, if you ever get a look, this has really changed. And but it's pretty much full, so I don't really need any more stickers. So one of the reasons for making the Trivets was to use up scrap wood. This is all, most of that is leftover cherry from working on the kitchen. You can see above my head, that's where I store shorts. Behind me, this is also another pile of wood left over from when I worked on the kitchen. So clearly I still have a lot more that needs to be purged. My son asked me to help him make a cutting board because he's attending a wedding in the spring and he wants to have a homemade gift. So I'll probably make 3 or 4 at the same time. And it probably still isn't going to make a dent in it. So one comment I noticed in the video was a couple of people made a comment about my miter saw, which is, as you may recall, underneath my planer. It's on my flip-top stand down there. And a couple of people made some comment about my miter saw, and part of that is historical. Like I never had a miter saw when I started. I started with a table saw. That's the only tool I had for a couple of years in terms of big tools. And then I gradually built things up. And so you get used to doing things a certain way. And I used a crosscut sled, or now I have a battery operated circular saw. And so when I moved into this house, it took me a while before I got a miter saw, and I filled up my shop. I mean, take a look around. Tell me, if you can, please tell me, where would you put a miter saw? The jointer, I think, pretty much needs to stay in the middle of the wall because you need to be front and back. And I think this is about the best place for the jointer. It's right by the door, so this is dead space leading up to it, and back there is storage. Over there is my workbench. Along the back wall, those cabinets, sander, X-Carve CNC. I've actually been considering making Matthias Wandel strip sander, so I'd be making another sander, and I need to find a spot for that. And over here, I've got the table saw and the outfeed table, and that's it. A miter saw is usually a middle sort of tool too. I'm reluctant to give this up. I use this a lot for outfeed or assembly. I can't see putting a miter station there. If you got some ideas, I'm open to it. So I think that's going to do it for this shop update. If you have a topic that you'd like me to discuss, if you've seen something in the background that strikes your fancy, I know for one upcoming talk, I'm thinking of doing a bit of a deep dive into my Dowelmax jig. I've had it for over 10 years. I think it's an awesome doweling jig. I've used it in a lot of projects, but I can't think of any other major woodworking YouTuber that I've seen use it. It doesn't seem to be a particularly common jig that's out there. So yeah, I've thought about doing that. Otherwise, that's it for now. Until next time, we'll see you later. No, I'm going to cut that part out.